आपने मुझे बहुत प्यार दिया। शायद मैं पिछले 15 साल से देख रहा हूं, शायद इतना प्यार हिंदुस्तान के किसी राजनेता को नहीं मिला। और मैं ये कर्ज चुकाऊंगा, आपके सपनों का भारत बना करके कर्ज चुकाऊंगा। हम मिल करके भारत मां की सेवा करें, हमसे जो हो सके हमारे देशवासियों के लिए करें, अपने वतन के लिए करें। जिस धरती में हमने जन्म लिया, जिस कुल में हमने शिक्षा पाई, हमसे जो हो सकता है हम सब करें। इसी एक अपेक्षा के साथ फिर एक बार हृदय से आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की।
जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे, जय हे, जय हे, जय 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 हे।
भागवत कथा और पूजा के वास्ते जब मैं आया, जेफ के उतरा तो जनवरी महीना का मास था, धोती पहनी हुई थी, बहुत ठंडी। और टैक्सी वाला भाई मिला तो टैक्सी में तो बैठ गया मैं, तो बोले कहाँ जाने का। मैं कहूँ मेरे को पता नहीं कहाँ जाने का। तो वो बहुत दयालु थे, वो दया करके वो तो लाए, उसके घर पे ठहराया।
So my family came to the States in the 80s, maybe 82. I was born in Chicago, but we only lived there for a few months, and then we moved permanently to California, the Bay Area, which a lot of Indian Americans live in.
I came here in 1989 to do my PhD. At least that was the purported reason for coming here. The decision to come here was primarily made after working in the corporate sector for a couple of years in Delhi, and at that point deciding that I just couldn't do that anymore.
So my dad worked for the Indian Foreign Service. While I was raised, and both my brother and my sister were raised out of India for most of our lives, because we carried India on our backs everywhere we went.
We are not even 1% of this US population, लेकिन उससे भी कम है, लेकिन फिर भी हमारी जो per household income है, that is $90,000. So I think that is a thumbs up for all of you out there. Keep on working hard.
My brother was the first Columbus from India over here from my family. He was in the shipping business, so he came on the job, but he decided not to go back to India. We are like a second wave of immigrants in this country. People who came in 60s, they were first.
Let me see. Maybe they want something to be translated in dollars or what? I think.
All I can do is that notarize your certification that you are
okay.
saying it under the oath. See, lawyer के पास गए होते, then he could have charged you $100.
हाँ वो तो.
Attention New Brunswick customers. The next train to stop on track 1 will be the 7:07 p.m. eastbound train to Penn Station, New York.
I was blessed to study in Regional Engineering College, Trishopalli. Did my master's there. And most of my classmates, we all came here. In those days, they were looking for a lot of computer programmers and stuff like that. We were all computer programmers, and it was easy for us to come.
He was, running the temp agency, temporary, placement agencies. He sponsored us the visa, and he tried to, exploit us, but basically it was a little struggle at the beginning. Chicken please, okay, $2. We also had a thought to, sometimes to go back, and work for our people back in India. But again, we were also thinking about the future of our own child.
You're just little kid.
When especially it's a girl child.
I'll be there. No boundaries. Wait, this is my boundary.
लड़कियों के बारे में बहुत सारी समाज की तरफ से निगेटिव वाइब्रेशंस होते हैं, निगेटिव वाइब्स होते हैं, जो जनरली दिखाई नहीं देते, लेकिन इट्स इन प्रैक्टिस, और हमें वो नहीं देना था बच्चे के लिए.
Welcome to my world.
We all know the United States is a racially diverse country. It's not just one race. It's like a choice. You can come to America to be what your religion.
You asked me earlier about why I'm American. I'm an American because I have a single mother. And that has profoundly shaped how I understand the politics of a Hindu-Indian identity.
I got much better exposure in terms of friends wise. I have all kinds of friends. White African American and African brothers and Asian. Chinese, Koreans. All kinds of people. It's kind of a wonderful experience.
If you look at many of the people who are even today coming to the United States from India, they're still doing things that they never did before. Right? You're going out and hanging out in a bar till 2 o'clock in the night. Right? You're experiencing a whole new social space and really trying to figure out how to be, how to enjoy yourself, how to really produce yourself anew in that social space. when you go through such an experience here, you find it necessary to position yourself as a person who's coming with this rich tradition. Right? And so you invent a tradition, literally. Right? You literally invent a tradition that really doesn't exist. And you produce this kind of, essentialized thing which you call your culture, and then it's all a fight around that.
ओम नमः शिवाय।
उसके पास गुरु नहीं है, उसके पास पोप नहीं है, उसके पास प्रिस्ट नहीं है, उसके पास कोई, क्योंकि यहाँ के बच्चे हिंदुस्तान से बच्चे जैसा बहुत भोला है, लेकिन उनको कल्चर चाहिए, उनको शिक्षा ज्ञान। इसलिए हम थोड़ा सा, यहाँ हॉल है ऊपर, तो हॉल में थोड़ा सा बच्चों को हम सैटरडे संडे को संस्कृत का पढ़ाना, उसको श्लोक बोलाना, तो उसके साथ उसका पेरेंट्स आता है, उसको थोड़ा ज्ञान देना। ऐसा हम इसलिए कर रहे हैं त्यौहार कि बच्चे को कल्चर, यहाँ कुछ कल्चर जैसा बिल्कुल जीरो है, लेकिन हमारे सानिध्य में यहाँ आता है तो हम उसको थोड़ा सा, हमको बहुत चिंता है कि ये बच्चा हमारी कथा, जो कोई शादी का भी कोई करने वाला नहीं, कि उनको उसके पास कोई ऐसा गुरु टीचर नहीं है।
So it's a strange thing. So you abstract out a particular culture from there and elevate that, and you take this new life here and you only pull out the victim end of it.
Well, folks, welcome to your favorite show, The Stories of Mahabharata and the EBC Radio Club. This is Shudipta Bhaumik from the 8K Radio EBC studio, The Stories of Mahabharata. In the last episode, we heard the story of Jarasandha and his death in the hands of Bhima. We also heard how the Pandavas completed all the prerequisites for performing the Rajasuya sacrifice.
You study Punjabi?
Yeah.
Like what specifically? Like we learn how to write and how to say the words. Look, Sach is right here. Right in front of me. You're lying. So like, in Punjabi, what is Sach? The truth. The truth. Our Father is the truth. Right? Our Father is the truth. Right? If you want to laugh, you go inside and laugh in front of everyone. Before I make you. Do something in front of everyone. Alright, everyone close your eyes. You don't do something. He's gonna alone? Yeah, alone.
Yeah, you go.
That's embarrassing.
Man, weird.
That's embarrassing. Then go inside.
Yeah.
Do it. Everyone close your eyes.
Guru, Guru, Guru,
Waheguru, 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 Waheguru.
We are five brothers and sisters, so we all came over here to join him. And then our wives came, our children born over here. And then our in-laws also came over here. So today the family, which was started with the one person, immigrated over here. We have like 45, 50 people. So our people started to rent the place, right? And the first place was over here named Yogi Bazaar. Then other businesses came, the restaurants came, right? And it built up. And then the city recognized that and they give the name India Square.
Okay, I'll see you. I don't think it is there's much of a difference, particularly the way we are living here. And we get all Indian food and everything. And you saw the streets, right? So at this one street where you can 11 o'clock you can still walk in and have a Hyderabadi chai and walk out. So we are very, I don't think we ever missed it. In this area alone, right? Gujarati, they have Swaminarayan temples here. A couple of them are here. 4 temples are here. And there's a Sikh Gurudwara here. And there's some, 11 mosques in Jersey City today. It's totally different type of, city. And we the immigrants are actually, we are very proud that, we built the city. What are we giving back to the community? That is a very important question that we address every day. We just don't go and complain. We try to address the gaps, like what the government has done, what can be done, and where is the gap. They don't have a house, they don't have a place to cook food, right? And there are people on the streets. Whether we like it or not, we call some certain set of group of people undocumented or illegal, but they are here. And this country has given us so much. I definitely feel that it is our obligation to we live here, we are going to be here, unless God has different plans.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you.
You're sleeping?
Actually, thank you and God bless you. Okay? I love you too. Okay.
Profiling it happens, and whether we will, I think whether you like it or not, that's part of life today. So we have to accept with that, and that's the way the people are going to treat us. Other than that, I don't think so. Ever I had a major, not in this city. Outside, yes, got pulled out once from the airplane. Those are part of life, we go through with that.
So I was actually referring to kind of my arrival in New York at a time when Indian immigrants were hyper visible and were targeted because of their visibility and their success, right? So their relative success in an era where, so we're talking about the 80s now, right? So the Reagan era in the United States. So Indian communities had started to move in and build their little Indias, their little Gujarativilles and Punjabi Bags in New Jersey and New York in a way that incensed the local populations, right? So when I moved to New York when I was 11, it was 1986, the whole dot busters violence was spreading all through northern New Jersey, and it started to pick up in the New York area, and particularly the more established working class white communities, right? This is where the violence was taking place. And so when I arrived to middle school, this idea that the Indians were the newest like latest greatest other, right, was very firmly in place.
Our people got beaten up too. There was one guy, he was I think medical doctor. He was killed. He was a Parsi boy from India and he got killed. So even we have my next door, there was a Dr. Patel was there. He was slashed too and beaten up.
I was approaching my car and I saw the bunch of the kids. Then one of the kids came to my car, so he sprayed me something on my face and eyes, and it was burning me and my eyes got closed and I started screaming.
No matter what race we called us, we are people with color. And that fact, none of the American is gonna forget. They're gonna make you realize that even though you're born as an American.
So this is a picture of the brother of Balbir Singh Sodhi, whom you might remember was the first Sikh American to be killed after 9/11. And he was killed as he was planting flowers in front of his gas station in Mesa, Arizona. And he left a whole family behind as a result of this hate violence that occurred. But the post-9/11 environment and hate violence is not limited just to the week after 9/11. August 5th, 2012 would not turn out to be a normal Sunday for Paramjit's family or for the Oak Creek community. Soon after his mother had left the house, news reached Kamal that people inside the Sikh Temple of Wisconsin were in danger. Details were scarce, and panic-stricken, Kamal rushed to the Gurdwara to find local law enforcement vehicles blocking off the driveway. Then, one of their close friends, Kirandeep, received a call from her father, who was inside the Gurdwara. He whispered to her that he was hiding in the pantry of the kitchen because he had heard gunshots. He was one of around 25 people huddled, terrified among bags of rice and fresh vegetables. It would be a full 11 hours before authorities finally notified Kamal that his mother had been one of 6 people fatally shot inside the Gurdwara. This was not the future that Paramjit had envisioned for her family when she and her 2 sons moved to America from India in 2004 to join her husband, who owned a number of gas stations in Wisconsin.
First year in New York, I was in 7th grade, I had 10 fights within 4 months. Physical, like, fist fights. And that had everything to do with me being Indian, right? And so part of my strategy for getting through middle school was distancing myself from Indians. I mean, I remember thinking as a middle schooler that Indians were weak. Like, we just didn't know how to, I didn't know how to defend myself. Like, actually, the people who would come to defend me when I had fights were my Black and Latino friends.
I mean, the only reason an Indian is able to travel in the front of the bus today is because of the African American battles. That's the community that's given you a lot more in real terms.
And we all know it was a sin and a shame of what we were forced to watch happen to this young sister. But she's not the only one. Her suffering is over. Her mother is suffering now. Delisha, who was 7, Tommaso, and not only that, Rhonda, who was, was an older woman, and my brothers as well.
Hey, hey, ho, ho! Caste system has got to go. Hey, hey!
always wanted to be a writer of science like Carl Sagan. At last, this is the only letter I'm going to write. For one last time, Jai Bhim. Jai Bhim.
They opened her legs, they spread it open. A black matron. I saw it again. A black matron by the name of Robinson repeatedly kicked my sister in the womb until she miscarried on the floor. So when you say there is no good police, we mean that shit. Ho ho! Gas system got to go. Hey hey! Ho ho! Gas system got to go. Hey hey! Ho ho! Jai 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 Bhim! Jai Bhim! Jai Bhim! Jai 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 Bhim! Jai Bhim! Jai Bhim!
But Dr. Becker was more than the leader of a mass movement, a lawyer, and a major intellectual, which means that Dr. Becker means more to the ballot struggle than Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., Thurgood Marshall, Frederick Douglass, and David Walker combined.
उस दौर में कल्पना करिए कि हमारे बाबा साहब अपने वतन को गए। सोचिए यदि नहीं गए होते तो क्या होता, इतनी बड़ी आबादी का क्या होता, कौन उनकी तकलीफ को, दुख दर्द को। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि आप सब जाइए, नहीं, यहाँ आपकी आवश्यकता नहीं तो हम जैसे लोग कैसे आ पाएंगे। आप यहाँ रह करके राजू कांबले जी, बैरवा जी, ये पूरे लोग जो जगह जगह न्यूयॉर्क में, पूरे अमेरिका में और यूरोप में फैले हुए हैं, मुझे अच्छा लगा कि आप सब जय भीम के कारनामा को सारी दुनिया में, नहीं तो हमारे भीम साहब केवल भारत में ही केंद्रित होकर रह जाते, क्योंकि कोई ब्राह्मण और कोई ठाकुर बाबा साहब का नाम लेने वाला नहीं था। मजे की बात है कि मैंने बाबा साहब का चित्र, जिस कमरे में एचओडी का कमरा जो था, मैंने बाबा साहब का चित्र लगाया, चित्र ऊपर लगाया, बाबा साहब का मैं नीचे बैठा। आप इमेजिन नहीं कर सकते हैं कि वहाँ के जो ब्राह्मण अध्यापक, अधिकांश अध्यापक ब्राह्मण ही हिंदी विभाग में होते हैं, उन्होंने मेरे कमरे में आना बंद कर दिया। वो रास्ता काट करके चले जाते थे कि डॉक्टर अंबेडकर को देखना पड़ेगा। आप सोच सकते हैं इतनी, मतलब इतनी घृणा उनके अंदर से है। आप सोच सकते हैं 21वीं शताब्दी में, माने विश्वविद्यालयों का ये हाल है, 1920 की यूनिवर्सिटी है। जैसा अपना देश है पर नहीं वैसा अन्यत्र, जैसा अपना देश है पर नहीं वैसा अन्यत्र, और खुशबू मेरे भीम की फैल रही सर्वत्र, खुशबू मेरे भीम की फैल रही सर्वत्र।
कास्ट सिस्टम के जो जोर के झटके वाइल ग्रोइंग अप कुछ समझ भी नहीं आए। इट वाज देयर क्योंकि इट वाज वेरी नॉर्मल, लेकिन डिस्क्रिमिनेशन था हर जगह जगह, स्पेशली इन स्कूल सिस्टम, बिकॉज ऑफ देयर वाज सम students belongs to higher caste, and even they are not in that line first or second rank. They always got the first or second. Being here, I'm not working under any other casteist control. I'm more open, and I'm more vocal to talk about what's happening to the Dalits in not only in India but in South Asia. We have been connecting with a lot of like-minded people when we are open. I think that's a good thing here in this country. People who knows you that you're human right activist, not the only Dalit right activist.
Earrings and wallets, all kinds of stuff. And then inside you should have food as well. Is it?
The flooding in Chennai in the fall was incredibly devastating, and unfortunately most of the communities that were impacted were Dalit and other minority communities that are not receiving the same kind of aid. And in some communities in India, dominant caste people have literally prevented Dalit and other minority castes from accessing resources such as clean water and other things that they need to recover from this flood. So we are raising money tonight specifically to support those people who are prevented access from the other relief resources that other people are getting in India right now.
Over here also they go by colors and they don't race but they don't have caste. But that is there. So who is voting? That what counts.
I came to America in 1974 as a graduate student. As I was growing up in India, I always believed in solving problems. I saw how engineers made an impact on everybody's life. In Congress today, there are 6 engineers, and they could use one more, myself. People are saying that with a name like Chibukula, and it may be very difficult to get elected with an accent from India, and it did not matter because I told people that instead of changing my name, I said, look, the way you remember my name is by thinking or imagining that you are driving a Chevy and drinking a cola, Chevy Cola.
The middle class, upper caste, migrant is white before they leave the shores of the shores of Bombay. Their aspirations are entirely white. Their understanding of what they're coming here for is an integration into white society and white culture.
Will the doctoral student being hooded by Professor Hall please return to the stage?
Mariam, stand straight.
One of my cousins, who's a much more recent immigrant, so he's one of the tech HB1s, he was telling me about his daughter getting into Cornell Business School and being really excited. And then he started telling me about how, they've admitted lots of African Americans, but he's just not sure how they're going to be able to cope. They're getting admitted because there's a quota, but how are they going to actually? They don't get the right education to be able to cope.
We have a quota system in the school here. It's one of the magnet schools called McNair. Yeah. Earlier when there was no quota system, that used to be number 15 in the whole of America. Now they put the quota system, and it is now somewhere around 48 or 50 in the whole of America.
Yeah, but it's not now. It's been, and they're trying to get rid of that for the reason because they have 25% quota for Asians. In Asian comes Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Philippine, all those, it comes under Asian, right? And then 25% quota for African American, 25 for American, and the 25
for Latinos.
And
25 for Caucasian.
Now, keep in mind that what is the population of Asian here and African American, so, and that quota system is not favoring our children.
the collective has come up, kind of came into being post-Occupy, around the time when Narendra Modi, the current Prime Minister of India, was supposed to come for a Wharton conference, and there was a protest against, a petition against him. And
Tell me more about the Wharton experience. How did it begin? And
well, it was initiated by some of the faculties there and some of the students, grad students, and they basically did a petition and wrote articles in their university newspaper, students' newspaper and stuff, which created a lot of backlash. There was a lot of backlash. There were marches here from right-wing folks who are into, pro-Modi and right-wing, they burned effigies and stuff.
We felt when Narendra Modi was invited to Wharton University, and we felt it is a proud moment for a Gujarati community to go there and listen the conversation on Indian economy. Then we learned that suddenly after 30 days they have revoked the visa. When I heard that, I made a phone call to Wharton University, and they said Mr. Modi is a polarizing figure, and that is where they have revoked his invitation.
Should we be smiling? One with the fist up? Should we be smiling? Should we be?
And that's where this JNU and all those people, if you ask them, all these media people, from where they come, what is their background, it's JNU, Osmania. Look into that. Then see what these communist-minded, socialist-minded people has done to the country. They ruin. America is built upon Christianity and Judaism. It is already Christian country. England is a Christian country. Whole Europe is a Christian country. So India has right to be known as a Hindu country. What is wrong in that?
Now, why has yoga become so important for the Indian middle class here? That they will even fight to say that it is Hindu. Because white people love it. It's the production of your value in the eyes of the white. 70% of India eats meat. Why is it so important to constantly project India as this kind of home ground of vegetarianism? Because in this new liberal frame of the United States over the last 25 years, 30 years, which intersects with hippie culture and all sorts of new concerns around health and the emergence of the new yuppie, vegetarianism is something that white people have begun to idealize and frame in particular ways.
अब तो केंद्र सरकार में इनके आने के बाद बहुत आसानी हो गई, फोन पे काम हो जाते हैं, पहले तो धक्के खाने पड़ते थे मजिस्ट्रेटों के। अब तो इट्स लाइक हेवनली थिंग फॉर अस। अब तो बस ये है कि वहाँ से उन राक्षसों के बीच से इनको निकालना है, वो मुश्किल है।
When you talk of RSS, what is RSS? I run the shakha in my home over here. They call it Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh. Right? What they teach over there? I was watching them. What is India? Who are our great people? Right? What is wrong in that?
समाधान मिलता है, हम बात करते हैं। आना है तो क्या करना है, यही दिन है स्व समाज के बीच संगठन।
अगर आज के तारीख में अगर आप जैक्सन हाइट्स में जाके खड़े एंड यू स्टॉप द फर्स्ट 10 देसीज हु आर टर्निंग द कॉर्नर, then the class caste profile of that group is of a nature that is they are the automatic support base for the BJP. Whereas if you were to do the exact same thing even in Karol Bagh in Delhi, you wouldn't find that evenness of the class caste background.
Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh is an inspired organization from Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh of India. You must have all heard that Narendra Modi ji was also full-time pracharak of RSS. So Narendra Modi ji and Raghav ji are one of those 3,600 full-time pracharaks that RSS has. HSS has 150 chapters.
RSS may talk anything they want. They are free to do that, right? The only problem with the RSS that these people that they have picked up some cause. What is wrong in picking up the cause?
So HSS, we took up a campaign in 2006. So we have been working with the American school systems to make sure that Hinduism is treated equally as terms of any other religion or culture that the textbook talks about.
When you are in America and you are projecting a good image about India and Indian values in America, that you are doing service to India.
Anxiety is how are you representing me in these textbooks, right? Because I want to be seen as a positive part of this country in opposition to, say, Muslim Americans.
So while claiming that minority status, while claiming that desire to be protected here, right, you have no problems positioning, somehow a particular understanding of India as Hindu, and that you need to smash and burn all the minorities there.
Some of it is that they feel like our Hindu community, the HSS and others, they are undermining the representations of the Dalits in another community, that they are the one oppressing them and they want to keep them down. So some of that opposition comes from those groups.
So in the textbooks, obviously caste is linked to Hinduism, which makes sense and is appropriate, I think, in many ways. But they want to dislocate that and say that caste is not something that is about Hinduism, but is about regional politics.
Thank you.
Upper middle class, upper caste Indians here and there, which has always been the case, right? That's not any different than what was happening 100 years ago in India, where we were trying to eliminate the Dalit politics and eliminate Muslims from the conversation to make a country that looked very simplistically, one-dimensional.
You are Ganesh, right?
There being in this country where we talk about freedom for everybody, equality for everybody, and at the same times we are using your own earnings to propagate ideology which is based on the discriminations, which is based on the bloodshed. First of all, what was the reason that those Kar Sevak 4 bogies were burned and people were burned live? What was the reason? When you see 68 or 64 or whatever number is that, 4 bodies coming in your town, I don't think anybody with the little blood going in his arteries will be quiet. Who said that the state did not act? If state wouldn't have acted, trust me, there is no Muslim in Gujarat. And I say they are lucky I am not there.
Even this fascination with Modi and strong India is connected to that structure of wanting to have presence with white people in a certain way here.
Narendra Modi, for example, is there, who knows India in and out, who has been working in this cause for almost 30 years as a social, as a community organizer. So they will have a tremendous positive impact on India's contribution to the world.
नरेंद्र भाई जो काम कर रहा है अभी, इंडिया 2024 में भी सुपर पावर.
भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
I'm still BJP guy. Even from back home, I was Jansanghi, right? So, and ABVP member from age 16.